That's cute. I have a running joke because in VRS, I always saw the opposite end of cats. So when people show their cats, I always get nervous.
Oh,
Oh,
that makes me chuckle.
oh,
Yeah.
very, very true. Yeah, he's pretty special. You love him.
Okay, well, it is just after 7. So I think we will go ahead and get started. Um, I don't have this on here, but I do want to take just the first minute to have everyone turn their cameras on if you're able. And I just want everyone to say hi. We don't always get a chance to have this ability to see everyone. I know that we just had Terp Talks at Augustana here in Sioux Falls, so a lot of us got the opportunity to be together. But it's just so nice to see friendly faces and the people that we work with every day from afar. So if you just want to take a minute with your camera on to go ahead and give a little wave or a hi or a smile, a little like hello to everyone. It's just so nice to have this opportunity to be together with such a big group of people. I'm so happy that you're all here with us. Um, so thank you all for attending our town hall tonight. Um, this is something that we're hoping to maybe host twice a year. I'm not going to say that in stone because I do not want anybody to come back and then say, when is your next one going to be? Because I don't have a date for when that's going to be. So um, the goal is for these to happen semi-annually. No, I got really confident there on what that was going to be, and then I don't actually know what you call that. So 2 times a year. We'll just gonna go with that. So welcome to our first town hall. This is really a time for the SDIA board to just get in front of you guys and kind of tell you what it is we're doing, who your board is. So first of all, I do want to take the time to introduce us. Those of you who don't know us, first of all, I'm Aubrey Burns. I'm your president. We have Haley King as the vice president. I'm pointing because that's where people are on my screen. That probably does not correlate at all to where people are on any of your screens, so I apologize. Um, Hannah Hattle is, or Hatley, or sorry, I get it wrong every single time. And then she makes that face at me every single time. Um, is volunteer interpreting for us this evening, but she also serves as our treasurer. We have Amanda McGuire, who serves as our secretary, and our newly elected official is Whitney Guard, who is serving as our workshop coordinator. So the five of us do serve as your board. If there is ever a time that you feel that you have any questions or concerns or comments about what we are doing or where our focus is or what we're doing next, please don't hesitate to send us an email. Our email is plastered everywhere, sdinterpreters@gmail, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Most of us have a job with one of you somewhere in the community at some point, I'm sure. Stop us, have a conversation, grab a cup of coffee, wherever you can find us. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you guys. Um, with this new board and with 2026 coming, we kind of sat down and really had like a heart-to-heart conversation about where is SDIA going? Where can we make improvements? What's next? What do we want the future of interpreting in South Dakota to look like? And with that, we took a look at our bylaws and we're like, these bylaws really are like 7 sentences on a sheet of paper that really don't correlate to anything that we're doing. They don't really correlate to any functionality of how we serve our community. And so I'm not going to read them to you. We are not in kindergarten. That is not a good use of any of our time. But I will have them sent out to you. I know Amanda has been working really hard to get them revised to how we have processed them. So since July, the four of us, and now since Whitney has joined, the five of us have really sat and like analyzed and analyzed and analyzed every word? What is the meaning of that? Is that how we want that to be portrayed? What really are the roles of each of our positions? How do we want terms to look? How do we want it to look if for some reason we don't want somebody to sit on the board anymore? How can we remove them from the board? What does it look like if we were some reason need to dissolve the board? Every part that we could kind of envision something happening, we've tried to put that into our bylaws. And so those will be sent out to you guys. And then we are asking you guys to review them and send them back to us by December 22nd with any questions you have, any comments you might have, any clarifying questions you might have, grammatical questions you might have, anything that you might wonder about them. And then we will respond to all questions that are sent to us. All questions will be responded to anonymously. And then we will send those back by December 29th. And then they will become effective January 1st of 2026 moving forward. So they will kind of take effect at that point. Beth.
Question, are you mostly looking at board duties and responsibilities, or are you looking at the scope of SDIA and what SDIA is in the bylaws as well?
No, we took a revamp of the entire SDIA. So we literally scrapped everything that the bylaws were. We literally threw that document out and started fresh. So we top to bottom rewrote the entire bylaws. So we each asked each other what roles each person should be doing, who should take what role. So that is in there as well. But we literally started top to bottom, mission statement, goals, vision, everything is in there top to bottom. Are there other questions or comments at this time in relation to the bylaws? Leanne?
Is what was sent out in an email, is that currently what we should be reviewing?
Yes, I believe so. Is that correct, Amanda?
Yes, the one that I sent out today is the most updated, other than that it says voting today, because I had a miscommunication on that. I didn't remember that that was the plan, and that was just my bad. So we're gonna send out an updated one that will have the correct dates on the header there so that people know, okay, questions by the 22nd, answers by the 29th, and then effective January 1st. So if you want to take a look at them, right now you already have access to what we rewrote. And our main thing, if I can add just a comment too, was to ensure that the legal verbiage that is supposed to be a part of bylaws was really clear and was involved in our bylaws, because there was some of that was missing initially. And then we also really wanted to ensure that what SDIA has been doing is acknowledged in the bylaws, and that it's very clear, like Aubrey said, just to echo what you said, is that it's very clear that we are, this is where we are, this is who we are, this is what we stand for. If what you're asking of us doesn't fall within the scope of this, we will offer you resources for somewhere else to find that. Whether that's the state or something else, like SD drop. But we just really wanted to refine it and make it as clear as possible, as distinct as possible, and then make sure that any loopholes could kind of get covered. So if you find loopholes, please definitely let us know that as well.
Beth?
Yeah, I see Michael's question. I didn't see the email, and Michael must not have either, that Leanne's referring to, that something got it sent out. But my question too, is this still keeps SDIA as a South Dakota based entity? It still does not bring us associated with RID, right? That still has been a dissolved thing, and SDIA is not trying to become the
No,
local
we are not
chapter
going to
for.
become an
Okay.
associate chapter to RID. We will not partner with them. No. Leanne, I saw that you had a question.
Yep. Hold on. I gotta look at it. I think I just forgot it now.
Okay, I'll come back.
So,
go ahead.
Does it say in there, I know I just was reading it before the meeting, but does it say anything about who can sit on the board? Because I know even tonight's meeting, I had deaf people asking, is this something that we should be getting in on? Should we not? Are we invited? We don't know. So I think that right there would be a point of clarification. Are we wanting them to become members? Are we inviting them to be a part of this? Is this just more for interpreters? Just so that's clear. And can they sit on the board? Is that
Okay. Yes, we will take note of that. Krista?
I have a quick question about the name. Is it South Dakota Interpreters Association or South Dakota Interpreter Association? Because it's both
That's a
ways
fun
in that
fact.
form already.
Yes. So the way that we are addressed by the state is South Dakota Interpreter Association. However, the way we all address ourselves locally is South Dakota Interpreters. So we have put in our bylaws that we are we can be known as you can see in there under the assumed name for purposes of advertising promotion. We may also be known as South Dakota Interpreters Association because oftentimes people refer to us as interpreters, but legally we are known as the South Dakota Interpreter Association without an S. Throughout our document, we will be known as South Dakota Interpreter Association. That's how it should be referred to throughout the document. But you might see on promotional items, etc., that it says interpreters, because oftentimes guilty as charged. We might say South Dakota interpreters. But yes, it is legally
Thank you.
called South Dakota Interpreter. Leanne, I'm not ignoring your question. That was discussed. I know that it's in there, who can sit on the board. I don't know it right off the top of my head. And so I am messaging somebody on the side to say, just can somebody find this? So I'm not ignoring your question. I'm just having somebody else look off the top of my head and finding the answer for you. So I don't want you to think, oh, she just bypassed me and then is ignoring. I'm not ignoring your question. I know it's in there. I just don't have the answer right off the top of my head. So I knew Haley would have it for me. Oh, maybe Hannah is raising her hand.
I'm pulling it up. But I did want to just echo what Aubrey was saying to just add some clarification to you, Leanne. We did make sure that qualifications and credentials were a part of the bylaws when we wrote them for who we're looking for the board as a guideline. We obviously want to be a good representation for our interpreting community, but we can't do that without acknowledging our deaf community. And that could be in different ways. That could be partnering with SDAD, giving them room, inviting them into our space and just really uniting us. So while I'm pulling that up, I just want to notate it is in there what we're looking for as that guideline. And that is inclusive of hearing and deaf as well. So
to answer your question, Leanne, I think if they are I'm not going to say that because I don't know what
this is Hannah. This is
there we go.
So from what I remember, we said that they could be deaf or hearing, but they have to be affiliated with sign language interpreting in some fashion. So if they're an ITP professor or I don't remember the exact stipulations, but the point was that the person has to have some kind of affiliation with sign language interpreting so that they understand how workshops go, what CEUs mean to us and things of that nature. So I think that's how it's worded in the bylaws.
Let me find it in the bylaws and email it to you. Is that okay? I want to give you an actual answer, not just skip over you. I just don't have an actual answer for you.
No, I can read it. I can read it. I just want to make sure that it was in fact included. And then
the second part to I'm sorry. I do want to answer the second part to your question though. Yes, deaf people were invited to this and they should always feel included to any workshop that we host, any town hall meeting that we host, anything that we put on. All deaf people should feel welcomed and included. So I did want to answer that part and I felt like I skipped over that. So yes, to answer that second question that you had.
Just making sure that it's included in there with the recent resignation of somebody from the board, or
You can say it.
that's
It's
the
fine.
only
Yes,
sign
we
I
get it.
can think of that. What does it look like to fill that spot if it's not up for, I mean, obviously you have a vacancy and it says in there that in order to have a full board, you have to have that seat filled. So I just want to make sure that that process is clear.
Yep,
And
and that
maybe
it's in there.
I missed it because I didn't realize that Whitney was even appointed to that position until I saw this email. So I'm like, did I miss something, or I don't know. So I just
So
want to
in our
make sure.
previous bylaws, it says that the board just appoints somebody and just says, this is who we decide gets to be on the board. That's how our previous bylaws fills
Okay.
the vacancies. We didn't really like how that was written, because that feels very like to everyone else, like you're saying, right? Like I feel very like, oh, I didn't know that that's how that went. Not that Whitney's not qualified or the right person or any of that, but I feels very, oh, thanks for telling us. It feels a little this. So it does say in here, vacancies will include this and this. This is how it's going to be done. It's going to be announced, which with that leads me to our next conversation of membership, which I think would solve a lot of these issues. So if you have more questions on the bylaws, please write them, send them in. Please do read this. I appreciate that you guys are having these questions and have these thoughts, because this is really important. So please continue to have these thoughts, questions, and email them to us, because it gets us thinking too, like, oh, what if that happens? Um, and that leads us to our next kind of point of having a membership, which is something that we have decided to move forward with as a board. And so part of the reason that we want to move forward with a membership is a few issues that came about within the last year. One of which being the vacancy that arose when we had to have a resignation of our board, is what does that look like when we have to fill the position? It was very kind of this, I don't have a better word. I don't have an English word for it. Um, hush hush maybe to everyone else, because there's no membership list, there's no email list, there's no contact to get a hold of everybody. It's just us kind of making decisions, and then you guys find out about it either via an email or a Facebook post or those types of things. And so with a membership, we have contact information where we can send out an email because you're part of the membership list. And we can say this position is open for vacancy. Is anybody interested? We can kind of host more of a uh, election type thing, or we can say, hey, we've gotten these three names. Is everybody okay with any of these three people? That type of thing. We also, when we were hosting the gala, when we sent out for nominations for the five awards, we then had people going in and voting 6 to 12 times for positions that they didn't even qualify for, such as people who are mentors that weren't even mentors. And so this helps us put a limit on how many times you can vote for certain things. It limits how many times you can vote for the next board, because you can only vote one time if we know that you're a member, we know your email's already voted, etc. So what is membership going to look like? For a practicing interpreter, those of us who have graduated, seasoned, no longer in the ITP, it's going to be $20. Where does that $20 go? What does it get you? What are the benefits? Um, it amounts to this. One, it gets you voting rights, such as voting on the bylaws for when those come into practice. However, you won't have become a member before voting, so just stick with us on that one for this bylaw time. Um, you'll get a pen, which, come on, who doesn't want a pen? And you'll also get a card that says you're a member of SDIA. And a lot of times, people need a card to show that I am an actual member of this organization. And so I think that tends to be very helpful. The $20, where that money breaks down to, $5 or 25% of it is going to go to the Rick Norris Fund. This helps us continue to support that fund and help continue to support the community. $10 is taken off of your next workshop. So no matter when you pay for your workshop or your membership, so let's say you pay in January, it's off your January workshop. If you pay in June, it's off your fall conference workshop. Whenever you pay for your membership, it's $10 off your next workshop registration. Does that make sense? I feel like maybe I'm not explaining it very well, but in my head, it's clear as mud, but I've said it so many times. And then $5 goes to the SDIA fund, just to try to help kind of boost SDIA's funds a little bit too. Questions that you guys, oh, I should probably tell the students what they're paying for. And then students pay $10. Their $10 goes to $5 for the Rick Norris Fund and $5 to the SDIA fund. And then they get the same benefits as well: voting rights, a pen, and a card. What questions do people have about membership? What thoughts do people have? What questions can I answer?
Sorry, Aubrey, I just put in an image of the breakdown that you sent us, and the $5 for or the $10 for students says 5 to Rick Norris and 5 to the
Off
workshop
their first workshop.
registration.
I was
Is
reading
that
the wrong thing.
correct? Okay. Just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, I was reading. That's what happens when you let me read.
Well, I get that.
I didn't get past kindergarten.
Anyone who needs a visual aid, I did put one in the chat, so.
Lisa.
I think all of this is really good to redefine the bylaws. I just want to iterate that this bylaw has been through a numerous series of changes and transition from the very start of SDIA. And so when we merged with SDRID, or when we became an affiliate chapter of RID, and then we went back. And so I think it's important that we have revisited the bylaws. And I appreciate this meeting because it provides a little transparency for all of us that haven't been on the board and haven't known what's been going on. So I do appreciate that. I'm not sure I want to bring this issue up again because I know that it's a really sticky, touchy subject for certain people. But I also think that it's really important for people who have been in the field for a long time to remember the reason that SDIA was even established. And that was from some of our strong deaf leaders like John Buckmaster. And I know we don't want to talk about the Buckmaster Award and all that again. I'm not asking that we do that, but I'm not sure how do we preserve the history of some of that without and still transition into the times that we're in today. And I just want us to all kind of think about that because I think that's really important that without them, we wouldn't necessarily be here. Without our deaf community, we wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't have a need for a job. And so I just want to make sure that somehow we have been able to, I guess, garner all of that in our bylaws.
Absolutely. I appreciate you bringing that up and reminding us. Do you have a way for us to incorporate that into the bylaws, or is there a way? I mean, I know not the Buckmaster Award, or that we've discussed about the Buckmaster Award. Is there a way to incorporate it? I don't know that it would be a law per se, but or into the bylaws necessarily, but do you know of a way, or
I'm not sure if they're, I'm not sure I'd know a way right off the top of my head because I haven't really read through the bylaws. I just now learned that they were attached to the agenda, and that's my own fault because I wasn't paying attention. But I don't know if we somehow incorporate the history of SDIA throughout, like in the initial part of the bylaw. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there too because I do think that regardless of if you're a student now or if you're a student 10 years ago or if you were an interpreter that was entering the profession when John Buckmaster helped start this award, I think it's important that all of us know who those leaders are. Ben Sukup, I mean Kevin Barber. We all know those people's names, but I think it's important that we carry on their legacies. And I'm not sure how to do that. And I don't know that we want to get into that discussion tonight. Like I said, I don't really want to open a can of worms because I know that's a really touchy subject for certain people. But I just wanted to make sure that you understand that I really appreciate the transparency that we're having here. But I also think that somehow we need to think about how to incorporate and provide that history because I do think it's an important history of South Dakota interpreting and that we were one of the first states in the country to enact certification laws and that we fought for all. I mean, I think that that's an important part of what our interpreters need to understand today too as students. So that's just my soapbox. I'll get off of it.
Amanda.
Lisa, thank you so much for saying that. It is my job as the secretary to preserve the history of SDIA. And I have to be honest, the last time I was the secretary, we had a plastic bin this big full of papers. And now everything's digitized, and I have not had the time to really dig as deep as I'd like to into ensure that we still have a lot of that preserved. So if you and some of the others from that era are open to the idea of having a meeting and really getting some of that down on paper, I think it'd be great to honor the history of SDIA at the very least on our website and on our Facebook and make sure that it stays preserved indefinitely because that's not changing. The history of us doesn't change, it just grows. And it's so, you're right, it's so crucial. But even when I came on to SDIA 15 years ago, that the history wasn't being shared as much as it was just like, this is just a thing that we're doing and we're moving through it, right? So I didn't know those things because I wasn't here in the community yet at that point. And so obviously people who are here now don't know because it's 25, 30 years ago, right? So I would love, love, love the opportunity to preserve that history with you and Anne and Jeanette and anybody else who is here. We want to honor that. We want to ensure that that is uplifted and that your voices are heard and that deaf voices are also being recognized and shared because we know that we're very fortunate to be in South Dakota where they were fighting for their rights and ours at all times. So thank you for bringing it up. And we haven't discussed it, but we will. It's on the notes. I can guarantee it. So.
Yeah, and like I said, any organization goes through a period of transitions, and we've been through a lot through SDIA. So I'm not by any means discounting the mass transitions that we've went through, but I just think it's important that we preserve that history, just like CSD preserves their history, and just like um, Casey, ISI preserves her history, and Leanne, great interpreting, preserves their history. I think it's important. South Dakota Association of the Deaf, South Dakota Services for the Deaf. I don't need to go on and on and on, but I just think it's important that we preserve that history and pass that on to new interpreters because you just never know interpreting out there in the world someday that name might come up and everyone's like who and they play a part in our reason that we're here. So thank you for hearing me.
I also would like to add to that meeting or that subcommittee that's going to um, document that history. If we could maybe have Kevin Barber or Ben Sukup, some of those individuals in those conversations as well. I think it's important to get have those individuals be a part of it. So perfect. Um, Michael?
I was kind of looking at the bylaws, and it says a draft date and then voting date. Will there be an opportunity to make resolutions to change or modify from a membership or body standpoint prior to
Yep.
voting? I don't know
So
if I
they're
missed that
actually going to
detail.
be, your questions and everything can be sent in by December 22nd, and then we will send our responses by the 29th. And so there'll be some conversation happening over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
So this draft, this initial draft
Yeah,
will
you can
not
ignore the date on the
be
top. There was
right.
miscommunication amongst the board.
Right. What I guess I'm trying to clarify is there's not going to be any membership specific conversations about ratifying, drafting. I don't know the duly. Not, I don't want to say the duly decimal system thing, but you know what I mean. Where it's like I first this, I second that. Motion to discuss. Motion to the
Oh,
motions.
Robert's Rule of Order.
That like, are we going to have a time period where people can, like I know we're separate from RID, but how RID is like, hey, we have opens for motions for changes to our bylaws. Or will there be a period where we can motion changes to this that can then be voted on by the membership initially? Or is this draft, we're just kind of sending in concerns and questions? The board will respond, the board will enact the first draft, and then from there on out, there'll be motions to change and a procedure on how to change the bylaws. If that all makes sense.
Go ahead, Leanne.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you're wanting just more input, from all of us as a membership, not just the board deciding.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity for that?
Or like a meeting like this where we share, like, this is what's up. Are we in agreement, or is there any discussion? I mean, I can see that being a benefit as well, but.
Okay, so I suppose we could have another meeting in like 2 weeks on a Monday again, if people want to get together. So you have time. I mean, we don't have to instill, no, instill, is that the right word? Them on the first. We can postpone it and have another meeting where everyone can come together. Carmen?
Is there a reason why there's a January 1st deadline? Is that when bylaws have to be in
Yeah, because
place, or
I'm
you just
type A, and I like things to be a clean start on January 1st. So
okay? Just
everything was
knowing,
going to start January 1st. That's when our fiscal year
yeah.
is.
I just don't know with this time of the year. I don't really have time right now to go through the bylaws, the time that I'd like to spend on it. Um, just within the next couple of weeks with what's going on with the end of the school year and stuff. But that's why I wondered if that January 1st could be pushed out a little bit so people have more time to chew on it.
Yeah, I mean, we were just going off our fiscal year. So we've always done it where we send the bylaws and then people send us their questions and then we send them back. And I'm going to be completely honest, in the 15 years that I've served on the board in a position of changing bylaws, we've had one person ever send us a question back on our bylaws ever. And so I in my transparency, I was like, yep, we'll just send them out and then we'll have the conversation with the same person who helps us with our bylaws every time. And then they'll just be what they are because most people don't respond to us. So the fact that so many of you are like, no, I want to read the bylaws, I'm a little like, oh, I'm so happy. Like, I'm okay with moving this out until like February if you guys want to get back together and have a conversation. Like, that makes my heart feel so good that so many people care about the bylaws. Nobody other than me ever cares about the bylaws. So we absolutely will find another time and just push off the January 1st date and come together and have a conversation. That is perfectly fine. Go ahead, Amanda.
Just to let everyone know, our next board meeting is next Monday. So I'm going to propose that we will discuss at our next board meeting what the new bylaw time frame will be based on this conversation that we just had. And then we'll release that after our next board meeting. Is everyone comfortable with that? I got a thumbs up and 3 nods, 4 nods, a couple more thumbs ups. Cool. Okay, great. Okay, so that's what we'll do. And I'm going to put that in the minutes as well. I'll still include the current draft of the bylaws. I'm just not going to include the timeline in the minutes and our fact sheet that we're going to send out like a quick and easy TLDR type fact sheet. And then everyone can just wait on bated breath about what the timeline is going to be next week. Merry Christmas.
So for this time, I'm going to table the bylaws. We're going to, if I can get just a thumbs up from everybody about membership, or is everyone okay moving forward with membership? Everyone, we're good there? Perfect. Excellent. Okay, next I want to go on to talk about our 2026 workshop. We had this beautiful plan for January, and then it did not happen. And so now we have a whole new thing that we're going to tell you guys about. So January 8th is the tentative date. It will be that week. We are still waiting for 100% confirmation from our presenter, but we are tentatively scheduled for a Zoom workshop with Randy Season. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he is the same presenter that we had last year. Michael's going to jump on and tell me how to say his last name. I can guarantee it, or he's not. But he presented last year for us. And this year we are we're going to follow kind of a journey on our workshops this year about rebuilding not only ourselves, but also rebuilding as a community. Last year was a very rough year for kind of everybody on our own personal levels of how we dealt with everything that happened, but also as a community. And how we experienced the community, just everything we experienced as a community that was tough. And so we as a board kind of decided that we want to figure out, how do we come back together? How do we grow as a community? How do we learn from this? How do we rebuild as a community? And so we are going to start from the beginning, and we are going to start with emotional regulation and ethical clarity. I know it's a very broad, what does that even mean at this point? But we brought that to Randy, and he was like, let me build you a workshop. Let me take that and let me make something for you. And so him and I are kind of working hand in hand right now of, what does your community need? What do you individually need? Let me take my tools. Let me make this for you. And so he's fabulous. Like, I don't know if you guys have had one-on-one conversations with him, but he really is just amazing. So be on the lookout for more information about that, but it will be January, either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week. We proposed Thursday, he proposed Thursday, so I think we're all on board with Thursday, the 8th. So that is what we know for our first workshop. Stay tuned for the rest of the season. We also will be doing our fall conference and gala together again next year. So stay tuned for what the theme and what that's going to look like. But it will be one big weekend again here in Sioux Falls. So we will not be traveling. We're going to have it all in Sioux Falls again. So we had a great time last year. And so we look forward to doing it again this year. Do we have any questions so far about workshops? Don't ask me any questions, really. I only have the one workshop, so don't ask any other further questions. Oh no, Beth's gonna ask a hard one.
I was just gonna ask, like, so with the new membership dues, does that help with SDIA's funding to bring in some of these outside presenters, or do we still rely on the partnership and funding from the state, or kind of how will the memberships help? Is that a right word to say? You know what I'm asking, right?
Yes. So we're hoping so. Last year, we brought in Dak, and we were really excited to bring in Dak, and Dak was great. If you guys didn't have the chance to go, you should find a time to go find Dak because that workshop was phenomenal. That workshop was not phenomenal for our checkbook. Just to be in full transparency for everybody. That just it was very expensive to bring Dak in. Um, and those 1 day workshops are really expensive to fly them here, to pay for hotel, transportation, all of that is just very expensive, especially if we don't partner with the state. And so um, we are so beyond grateful when the state is able to partner with us, especially for like fall conference when we bring in even a bigger name. And so with that membership, we're hoping that that does kind of offset some of those costs so we can bring in a 1 day bigger name to get in some of those. I've been calling them deeper workshops, those not those just basic 3 hour surfacey, here's some vocab words, but you really can get in those stand up, do it, like get up, move your hands type of workshops. So the goal is to offset some of those costs and bring in some bigger names. I do have a poll question that I want to ask since so many of you are here and we don't ever have this opportunity to like see you. Do you guys prefer when we did, because now we've had a few years experience, and then the last year we did the all day Saturday. Do you guys like when we've been doing like the 2 hours once a month and we have a few more local people like on Tuesdays? Or did you like when we had the two all day on Saturday? Patty ended up getting canceled because of weather. But when we were able to have the all day Saturday workshops, what do you guys like to do? I know that Saturdays are hard to give up, but in your like if ideal world, I didn't have kids all day or I didn't, this is what I could go to. What do you guys prefer we bring to Sioux Falls or to the area? You can throw it in the chat if you don't want to talk or what's best for you guys? Like what are you because we literally sit at meetings and we go, should we have a Wednesday workshop? Do you guys want to have a Saturday? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And then we're like, okay, when you go to an assignment, ask the person you team with. Okay, when you're at school all day, ask the interpreters that you work, and then none of us come back with answers because we're thinking like February through April for the all days. Okay, just so everyone's aware, my friends Patty and Peter are here from Kansas. So when you see them write that they like Zoom, they're from Kansas. They can't drive here to participate in our local workshops. They are who we asked to come interpret for our fall conference, and they are two of my beloved best friends. So they like them on Zoom. They can't participate. They are interpreters from Boakland Interpreting Services. Okay, so kind of a mix. That's always the answers we have to. So you guys feel the same way we do. We don't know what the answer is. Okay. Well, we do plan to have Zoom in January, an all day February, March, a Zoom in April, and then the fall conference because we know that springtime gets busy. And so that's kind of what we're feeling so far. Now, if we can get everyone to line up with what we're feeling, that's a whole other story, but that's where we're at. So you guys know. Okay, moving on. I could talk all night. You guys know how I am. The Rick Norris Legacy Community Fund. We need to get like the of. What would you say, Hannah?
I saw Lan had her hand up. I wasn't sure if you had a question.
Oh,
Lan.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to comment and say if we're going to do 2 hour workshops, and they're going to be in person, I think they should be hands-on, like applicable instead of someone there just talking to us. Get us doing something, working on skills, something like that. I mean, we have a lot of local talent that if people are like, hey, yeah, let's work on medical terminology, let's work on this, and like actually like have things to do that we can do it and get feedback from the people we're there with and working with. I think that would be more beneficial than me showing up and giving 2 hours of my time to just hear somebody talk personally.
This would be my thumbs up on Zoom going up, all the thumbs up. I feel the same way. So thank you. Yes. By next town hall, we're gonna have a name for the Rick Norris Legacy Community Fund, a RNGNF or something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I wonder what that's gonna transcribe to. RNGNF. I don't know. Didn't come to anything. Okay, so with all the fundraising and all of the great things that you guys have donated and all that, we are currently sitting at just over $850 as our starting fund. So thank you to all of you guys and the word of mouth that you've gotten out there, and the story that Lisa Norris did brought in some money for us too. And so that is just fabulous. So starting again, sorry, Carmen, January 1st. Um, uh, we're actually going to open up the applications. So if you know of somebody in the community that is needing a little help, and this is, you know what, I'm going to let Haley do this. This is her baby. So you talk about it, Haley. You share how it works, who gets the funds, how they can apply. You talk about it.
Okay, no pressure. So yeah, if you guys weren't at the gala, I'm just going to back up a little bit. At the gala, that's when we announced the Rick Norris Legacy Community Fund, very, very long name. And that is an effort that we are making with partnership with the Norris family. We have 100% support from the Norris family. I'm in constant contact with Lisa as well as Shay, and Kaya, just really making sure that they're involved. But overall, what this program or what this fund is going to be is just reinvesting into our interpreting community as well as our deaf community. On our website, we did spend some time and developed a whole page that is dedicated just to this fund. Again, we all can read, so I'm not going to waste your time now just sitting here talking. When you have free time, we know that's rare, but please take a minute, go look at that website, at that page. On there, there's different priority levels. That's just what we're calling it, labeling it now, of how we, as the board, will determine how that money is dispersed per those applications that Aubrey was mentioning before. We are accepting them in January. We're still in the process of making sure that all those procedures are set up. Anybody who knows me knows I love a good procedure and a program to follow, and that will be something that will be accessible to you guys as well as members. So you guys are just in the know. Again, transparency is key with you guys as well as the Norris family. Is there any questions, concerns, comments right now about the Rick Norris Fund? I know it kind of got a little quiet there since the gala was in September. We haven't really talked too much about it since. We had a fun little news story posted about it, thanks to Kelloland. Hope you all saw that. But if anything ever comes up and you're like, what's going on with this money, please let us know. We want to make sure that's clear, as well as any fundraising ideas. There's so many possibilities out there, and I would love to say that I could come up with everything. Aubrey can come up with everything, but you guys have a lot of experience out there. What works? What do people want to invest in? What do people want to be a part of? What really helps keep Rick Norris, his memory alive, just as we're also going to have that conversation further about Buckmaster, because that is very, very important, just to wrap it all back in together. So, yeah, so that's kind of the very brief overview of what the Rick Norris Fund is.
And just so everyone is aware, put it on your calendars. Rick North's favorite holiday was Christmas. No, totally got that wrong. Halloween. And we didn't want to compete with the carnival. So we've decided his second favorite holiday was St. Patrick's Day. So we are going to try to do a fundraiser around St. Patrick's Day to do something in honor of him, maybe around a workshop and then I'll go to dinner and do some sort of fundraiser or something. So keep St. Patrick's Day time around your calendar noted that we will do something around there as a fundraiser. But if you have other ideas, please let us know. That fund can deplete very quickly if there are a lot of needs. So we want to make sure that we're keeping it depleted. I don't know, guys. It's late. So, any questions about the Rick Norris Fund? Last thing before I open it up, we had 10 minutes left for community. I just want to say thank you so much to the girls on the board with me. This really could not happen without them. They keep me sane all the time. They are the ones constantly reminding me of things that I'm supposed to be doing. So thank you to them. Thank you so much to Hannah and Whitney for volunteer interpreting tonight. Makes it available so that we can record this video and keep it live so that people can watch it later if they want to. But now the time is yours. So do you have questions for SDIA? Do you have questions about where we're going? Any thoughts that you have, things that you'd like to see us be doing, things that we can look into? The time is yours for the next 8 minutes before we wrap up.
I just have a comment. I'm one of the Kansas people, and just getting to join you guys. We're trying to do stuff here in Kansas, so it's kind of nice to see other places and other people perspectives and stuff. And it's one of my first meetings, but I'm just very appreciative to see you guys come together, and hopefully I get to learn from you guys because me trying to figure out how to do stuff in Kansas, it's nice to be able to see other people who are um, shakers out there. So thank you. Just yay.
Thank you, Peter. Go ahead, Amanda.
I just wanted to, nobody's asking, but I'm just going to put it out there just in case the question comes up in the public and somebody might say something. When it comes to Haley, you can just close your eyes. When it comes to the mentoring RFP that's out there right now, we did have a discussion as a board, and we are not going to be proceeding to being a mentoring agency as of this current time. So you guys all know that conversation did take place at our most recent meeting, and we just want to make sure that people are aware of where we're all standing. We support the mentoring program. We really want it to continue to grow and flourish and thrive, but we decided that from our perspective, that is not the role of SDIA currently. If it becomes the role of SDIA in the future, then that's the direction we end up going in. So we just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Julie?
I really think if SDIA is going to be a statewide organization, you need to have some of the in-person workshops around the state. And I know you've tried that, and I know it's been frustrating, and I know there hasn't been participation, and yeah, I know all that. But I also know that if it's going to be a statewide organization, you need to try to move some of the meetings, maybe every other year, something like that around the state.
What meetings?
Any of your SDIA 2-hour meetings on a Saturday in person, is that considered SDIA meeting?
Like our workshops?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I know you've tried. I said it. There you go.
I appreciate it. It's noted. Amanda will write it. I appreciate it. Michael.
I'm wondering if, and I know that the state oftentimes has workshops out in the west side of the state
2 minutes.
That are high, I would say bigger names that go out there. It would be maybe nice to have those. We talked about a variety of different things, whether it be people coming into the state from out of state or even just local state people. It might be nice to have some of the local state people if we're looking at because of finances and the amount of attendance. It would probably be more economical to have someone local within the state then go to that part of the state that we want to host it from and have someone local be there with our colleagues. I think that would also branch out into networking and specifically that, because oftentimes the I would say, you know, our presenters leave, but if we had someone that was coming in to support and help educate all across the state in different parts, then we're building relationships then too that stay.
Mm-hmm. Beth?
With back to our membership piece of it. So did we already talk about this and I just don't remember? Or if it's in the bylaws, you can just say read the bylaws when they're all ready to be read, or I should open up that email. So do we go back to like membership meetings? Does that
So
that happen?
the goal is to have town halls instead. So the
Okay.
goal is to have like these type of town halls
Mm.
instead of like the fall, like in the fall conference when we'd have that 1 hour meeting in between.
Right.
The goal is to have these instead.
Instead.
And so
Gotcha.
the goal is to have these more frequently so you guys are more involved in what's happening. You guys are more informed about what's happening. Instead of we have meetings every month as a board, and then one time a year in 30 minutes, we vote on who the new board is and we do all this, and then 45 minutes is gone, and we really got no information out to you guys, and you guys didn't share any information with us. And we really don't feel like as a board we get to have any interaction with the membership. And so ultimately town halls would replace that 1 hour meeting, and we'd have more membership meetings instead of, if that makes sense.
Yep. Nope. Makes total sense. Thank you.
And they would be on Zoom, so they could be statewide. That's why it's at 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain. Lisa?
Is it the intent of the board to engage members' feedback before making decisions, or to come to us and tell us what the decisions are? I'm just because there are different roles that boards play, and so I'm just wanting to see clarity on what your intents, because I think that's changed throughout the years too. So
I would say for most of our decisions, the goal is to get your feedback. We really want to have this be South Dakota Interpreter Association, not 5 board interpreter association. The 5 of us are here to set a plan in action and then make sure that that's what interpreters want. And so that's why we're coming to you to say, like, yes, we kind of made a plan of like, we need to rebuild, but we're kind of feeling that. And if you guys are like, that's not what we feel, please tell us. And that's kind of how the board that I have seen as presidency has always felt. And that's what I've tried to instill in the board of like, please get information from the people when you're out with them and bring that back to us, and let's do what the people want. And maybe that has not been clear because we haven't had open communication like this, but that's really what we want to instill is like, we are serving you. We are doing what is best for you. So we really shouldn't make decisions that don't best suit what you guys want. And so there really shouldn't be a lot of decisions made that don't suit you best. So we shouldn't really be making decisions that aren't best suited for you. Now, because we're only meeting twice a year, I can't say that all decisions will be brought to all members, but now having a membership and having emails, it's going to be far easier for us to send a poll and say, this is what we're thinking. You can vote by Friday at 5. If you don't vote, I mean, we can only do so much on our end. But having a membership communication gives a little bit more interaction this way. But our hope is to be more of us serving you guys than the 5 of us just saying, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, this is the path, this is this. And so that's why we're like, give us feedback on who you want for workshop presenters. Give us feedback on who you want to see come here. If you know of people that can do a 2-hour workshop, I'm out of people who are local because we did the come togethers for 4 years. So if you have other ideas of people or people that have already presented, but you think, no, they should come back and present on this topic, or I know them really well and they would do this topic really well, please tell them to us. And it doesn't have to be to me. If you're really good friends with Haley, go tell Haley, go tell Hannah, go tell Amanda. Like it doesn't have to be to me. Send an anonymous email. I don't know if you can do that, but
No, you can't.
send some sort of message, pigeon it to us. That's fine. But we want to make sure that we're providing the best service to you, because if you guys don't like it, you're not going to come to the workshops. You're not going to come to the signing suppers. You're not going to come to the events that we put on if you don't like what we're doing. And so I think that was a really long-winded answer to say we shouldn't be making the decisions for you. So my hope is that this next year you do see a shift, that we are in more communication with you, that you do see you have the voice, and we are just trying to be a better service to you. Does that help answer? Lisa's like, no, not really. But that is what we're supposed to be doing, is serving the people. And I think for a long time we have really just kind of decided, well, this is what it's going to be. I hope you come to the workshop. And that's not really how we want it to be.
Can I add a comment? Lisa, I really think that this approach is a little bit new for us, and I feel like it's also nuanced at the same time. And I think that you are someone who has a lot of experience. And so maybe it would be prudent on our end to partner with someone like you just to get more in-depth feedback than what this meeting allows, because you might have really good perspective to share on things that we could be looking for to make sure that we are like appropriately engaging the community, and to maybe just get a little bit more expansion on your perspective of what does it look like when a board makes a decision, or when they should be putting the onus a little bit more on members, or like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not disgruntled, or I'm not saying that what you have done is not appropriate. I'm just asking for clarification because I once was Aubrey in that position as the president for many, many years, and lived through the same struggles and challenges that you all are talking about now. So, and obviously, whether you want to or not, history is oftentimes repeated. And so I think we can work together. And I think that we have young interpreters, we have older interpreters, seasoned interpreters, whatever you want to call people. I don't care. But I think we all have great ideas to bring to the table. And in the past couple of years, I'll be honest to say that it has felt like our thoughts, our ideas are discredited or not wanted, not warranted. And partially maybe that's, our own doing. So I think we all need to own this process. And like you said, it's time to start over again and start with the basics. And how can we work together? How can we support each other? Um, um, I learn a great deal from all of these students, and I love having people come and observe me and work with me, mentor with me, because I learn as much from them as hopefully they're learning from me. And I think that that's my point here is I've been struggling with this for a while now, is that I feel like the older I get, the more, and this is just probably something I just have to work through myself, but the older I get, the more removed I feel from the field. And that doesn't feel good to me because I've invested a lot in this community and I want to continue investing a lot. So I think this is a great start. I think, like I said in the very beginning of my conversation, I appreciate the transparency that we've had, because there are certain things that were put in place that I feel none of the members or people that were going to SDIA knew about. It was the board that made that decision. So yeah, I think we're moving in the right direction, and we'll just continue to work together. I don't have all the answers is my point. I don't have all the answers. I've been there, done that. I mean, been there, done that in Aubrey's position as president. So
I think Krista had last comment here.
I want to express my thanks to those of you that are serving on the board. For those of you that don't know, this is a non-paid position. They are completely volunteering their time. So everything that they are doing is completely out of the generosity of their heart. So I just want to genuinely 100% say thank you for taking the reins. SDIA was kind of fizzling out. And so it's good to see that we have some good, strong leaders right now in the community that are taking the lead. So I appreciate all of you. And I am happy to help out should you need. I have no desire to lead or run anything ever again for the rest of my life, but I would be happy to chat with any of you if you need anything.
Wonderful. I think that is a beautiful sentiment to end on. Thank you, Krista. We honestly, the five of us, could not be sitting in these seats without Lisa, Carmen, Leanne and her family, Krista. I mean, literally, without those of you that came before us to lead such a beautiful path. There are so many on this call that we could not be here. Casey, we couldn't be here without you.
I think
We
she just
couldn't be
called us
here.
old, you guys. I don't know if you heard that. I heard the word old
Um,
there. I don't know if you heard it.
it's really the people who taught us that we couldn't be here without. Beth, I mean, you have, I think, mentored every single one of us on this call. So we wouldn't, I mean, you've all served on the board in some capacity at some point. So this board wouldn't be what it is without you. So this new beginning is really just us starting from the beginning that you guys have started for us. So I'm really excited to see where we go. I'm excited that there were so many of you being here. I was a little nervous. It's like when you send out an invite to a Christmas party and you make all the candy and then you never are sure if anyone's going to come. So I value your time. I am sorry that I took extra time, but I think it was very important to have this conversation. So I look forward to seeing you all at the next one. I look forward to seeing you at the next assignment we're at together. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I will see you soon. Take care.
I just want to nominate Aubrey. That should be your slogan tagline from now on. How you just wrap that up. just saying that would be great. Just
What
every
did she
every time
say?
Aubrey gets done, we have a recording of it. It should be recorded. Go back, but it was like, be kind to yourself. It was something I can't even repeat it, but it was like, be
Be
kind to
kind to
yourself.
yourself, be kind to others.
Yes, it reminds me of Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
and that was and we need more of that. So anyway,
more Mr.
have a
Rogers.
good night, everyone. Yes.
Thanks,
All right, take care.
Michael.
That's all. Bye.
Bye.